we're going to bring on the venerable Mike McGary of the Press of Atlantic City. Guy's all over the place these days. He's up in Homedale Park today for cross country. We're going to talk a little cross country and a little bit of football. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Hey, how are you, Dave?
Hey, man. Thanks for joining us. I know you got a busy day ahead of you.
No problem. I'm at Homedale Park right now getting set to watch Alyssa Aldridge, a Mainland Regional run, and then after she's done, I'll be off to Hamilton to watch a little St. Joe Holy Spirit non-public 2 quarterfinal football.
Nice. I'll see you out there. I'm making my foray into color commentating today.
I heard that last night. That'll be a treat for the listeners, I'm sure.
Might try to throw in a little Keith Jackson impression if I get the chance.
Right, there you go.
Tell us what's going on at Homedale Park. I guess the teams are all kind of streaming in there, fans. Tell us a little bit about this event, Group Championships. Pretty exciting event in the cross-country world. Yeah,
it's a great event. It's state group championships. Basically, the 6 enrollment groups. You'll have boys and girls races in each of the 6 enrollment groups. And it's a qualifier for next week's Meet of Champions, the top 10 individuals and the top 3 teams, plus some wild card entries advance to the Meet of Champions next Saturday. Tough conditions to run in up here. The weather's clear and sunny skies, but, it's about 45 degrees out, and it's really, really windy up here. And, it's a 3.1-mile course. It's the course that's kind of Homedale Park, kind of the Fenway Park or the Wrigley Field of cross-country running. It's, kind of a historic venue for people who are really into cross-country. And Alyssa Aldridge of Mainland Regional, one of the top contenders in Group 3, really a chance to kind of make history today because, girls started racing in this meet in 1972, and only 5 Cape Atlantic League girls have won state group title. So Alyssa Aldridge is trying to become the 6th today.
Wow, she's just having an incredible year. Kind of a neat event like we talked about. It starts at 10 o'clock, goes all the way to 3:30. It's kind of like a big party up there. You got all these teams milling around and sort of an exciting event for these types of athletes. This is kind of what they gear up for all year. For people who've never been there, what's this event like? You just have all these teams hanging out all day long. They're interacting with each other, kids they know from other schools and that kind of thing.
For me, I'm privileged to cover a lot of sports, but cross country is one of my favorites. It's just such a positive atmosphere and such an atmosphere of support for every athlete that's out there that runs. I mean, the team set up tents over the park. It's a really beautiful setting up here. The course is 3.1 miles. You see teams and coaches sort of run or ride bikes to different points on the course to offer support to their athletes. And really, I think what makes the sport special is, not only are the runners and teams competing against, other people, but they're also competing against the clock and themselves. So, you can finish, just making it to this race is a tremendous accomplishment. The teams and individuals had to qualify by running well at last week's South Jersey Championships. But, you're competing against yourself, a chance to run a personal best time, although with these conditions, that'll be very tough today. But it's just really, out of all the sports events that I get to go cover, I think it's one of the most positive, and feel-good events that there are in high school sports. It's kind of like everybody is there for the right reason.
Definitely. We're talking with Mike McGary from the Press of Atlantic City. Mike, help us break down this football a little bit. I know you're all over the football in terms of state playoffs, and a lot of exciting games last night, a lot of close games, and a couple upsets here and there. What were your impressions of last night's football?
Well, I mean, my impression right off the bat is how well the Cape Atlantic League did for a season for this season that I don't want to say got maligned a little bit, but maybe, kind of got overlooked a little bit. It's funny to say that considering St. Augustine is the number 1 team in South Jersey, but I'm talking about some of the bigger public schools in the Cape Atlantic League, your Millvilles and your Mainlands. Millville goes out to Cherokee and nearly pulls off the upset there. They're leading late in the fourth quarter. Cherokee gets a late touchdown to win that one. And then Mainland goes to Timber Creek and plays very, very tough and loses that game 10-3. Then you look at some, Bridgeton wins its 7th game in a row to advance. Buena Regional gets Sammy Crouch back and rolls to a win over Cinnaminson. So, and I thought St. Augustine did a fairly good job against a very good St. Joe Montville team. So even though the record of Cape Atlantic League teams, I think adding that up quickly, was 2-3, I think the Cape Atlantic League teams really acquitted themselves very well last night.
What about this Buena Regional squad? They've been on fire ever since that loss to Cedar Creek back in September. How good are they, and what kind of impact can they possibly make here in the South Jersey Group 2 tournament?
Well, again, you look at them, they're 9-1 this season. They were 10-1 last season. So they're 19-2 over the course of the last 2 years. They get a big win last night. They get a big boost from getting Sammy Crouch back here. I mean, he had been out with a knee injury for 3 weeks. He returns for the playoffs. I think he ran for close to 200 yards, scored some touchdowns. And you can't underestimate just the emotional boost that having, your best player or your best running back come back gives the team. And, Buena with a tough task next Friday night. They're going to go to West Deptford, the top seed. They're going to play in that game. And West Deptford is undefeated and probably the favorite to win the group. But Buena, has a chance with Sammy Crouch and Quadir Albright and Tyler Rainier back. Those kids have been part of that program for 2 years. And like I said, they're 19-2. That's a tough task next Friday night at West Deptford, but, it's certainly something that, you're not going to put past you.
Talking with Mike McGary of the Press of Atlantic City. Mike, couple key games in terms of the Cape Atlantic League today. You got first Collingswood at Cedar Creek. How good is Collingswood, and how tough of a game is this going to be for Cedar Creek?
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting football game. I mean, you look at Collingswood, they're 5-3 as 6 seed, but their 3 losses are to West Deptford, Haddonfield, and Paulsboro, and those 3 teams have a combined record of 22-2. So, Collingswood, has played well. You're talking about a Collingswood team that upset Camden in the first round of last year's playoffs, and kind of the conventional wisdom or the scuttlebutt around the South Jersey football scene is, that Collingswood has a real chance at this game. I think Cedar Creek's skill position players will be too much for Collingswood, but still Collingswood is kind of a live number 6 seed out there in Egg Harbor City today.
Mike, we got about a minute and a half before break. Tell us about this game between Holy Spirit and St. Joe coming up at 1 o'clock here on 97.3 ESPN.
Well, it's the renewal of a rivalry that really was the centerpiece of the Cape Atlantic League in the 2000s. Their games between St. Joe and Holy Spirit were the most anticipated of the season. They met in the playoffs. The games decided league championships. They haven't played the past 2 years because they've been in different Cape Atlantic League conferences, and now they get to meet again in the quarterfinals. It's a young Holy Spirit team against a young St. Joe team, but a St. Joe team with a couple of veterans in key spots. Chief among them, quarterback Salam Horn and running back Alam Horn.
Good stuff, Mike. Appreciate you hopping on board. Have some fun out there at the group championships up at Holmdel Park for cross country.
I will do. I'll see you in Hamilton and at any time. Thanks a lot.
You got it. Thanks, Mike.